I'm making a documentary about recycling in Moray. Do you know where your recycling goes?
No. It's not obvious. I would recycle more if I knew where it was going, but what annoys me is when you find that you separate all the goods and then they put them all in the same place. But I don't know how bad Moray is for that.
Once it's gone into here, no, I don't know where it goes. I run a small business, so my cardboard and things, yeah, everything gets recycled in my house.
Well, I'm hoping it's the trees and that will obviously get churned up and used for compost and stuff like that, things like that. People probably don't know where it goes. They probably just turn up here and that's it. That's the end of it, you know.
Recycling centres have become much more in demand, they're much busier, and managing that waste that comes into the recycling centre has been a lot more demanding. My name is Fiona Burnett. I'm the waste transfer team leader for Moray Council, dealing with the waste and its onward travel once it's brought here, and then the recycling centres as well. The general waste behind me, that would go through to our energy from waste plant, which is based through in Aberdeen. We've got about between 4 and 6 Arctic loads that go out per day, taking the waste through there. The cans and plastics are sorted and baled up by Moray Reach Out. We also have a cardboard baler that bales up the cardboard. Again, that goes on and gets reprocessed and made into new cardboard boxes. Everything that's collected as recycling does go onwards to be recycled. On this site here we have a number of staff behind the scenes. So we've got staff at work in our waste hall here, loading vehicles to take the waste onto their onward destination. We've also got Moray Reach Out at work on site as well as partners. We also work with Moray Waste Busters as well, passing on any items that could be reused at their site or sold on. So yeah, we've got a hard working team that service the sites as well, bringing all the waste from across Moray back to our site.
We're not just dealing with bins, you have to deal and work around the general public. So you might get questions, there's traffic issues sometimes, and we just try and navigate as sensibly and safely as possible through that. I jumped onto the green bin in Bucky today, so I was just dealing with the green bins. Each van does a colour basically. Once you reach full, because it was greens, it gets full pretty quick. You have to come back to site and tip the van, get it empty, head back out, do your part 2 for the day. When it comes to the blue and pinks, the recycling, we have to quickly check, because if there's contamination, you don't take it. It's the same with the browns. If you don't have garden waste in your brown, you tag it, you don't take it.
There's a lot of recyclable materials still go in the general waste. It's also getting people to recycle the correct materials. In terms of plastics, a lot of plastic bags can be put in with the plastic in cans, which aren't the correct materials. Likewise, cardboard boxes, things like polystyrene are still left in them. So it's actually getting people to dispose of their waste in the correct way.
We are stood in Moray Reach Out's own recycling plant. This is where we process from customers throughout Moray. The van goes out and collects from customers, and then they bring it back here and we process it along with the adults we support into aluminium, steel and plastic. You are probably looking in the region of sort of about 15 to 20 ton bags per week of mixed recycling that will come to this facility. We also have probably about 5 or 6 of the same type of bags of cardboard that will come along as well. Once we process it, we then bale it, and it gets taken to Grays Recycling, which are fantastic supporters of ours. which they take the cardboard, steel and plastic, and then they go through a further process to recycle that elsewhere. One of the biggest challenges is contamination of the products that come to us. I think it's a lot to do with the education of people who are trying to recycle, and plus obviously convenience.
I'm the team leader here at Moycroft. I'm here to assist the trainees and the staff in processing the recycling. The pink bin rubbish that you collect from home, that comes here to be recycled. It gets loaded into a hopper that we have, and then we'll sort the plastic, the aluminium and the steel. A lot of the stuff that comes in needs to be recycled because there's a lot of rubbish in there that really shouldn't be put into that particular bin. We have trainees that are adults with learning disabilities that come to work here. They do most of the processing and recycling. We do the heavy work, we also assist them.
I work at the Moray recycling down here in Moycroft. We recycle plastic and cans and aluminium and steel. I like working on the shaker and the picking line, and not so much the steel.
We give them a purpose and pride in their lives because it gives them routine, it gives them a purpose to get up in the morning. All this, and be part of a team, part of our family here. It's a huge help that they're here to support us throughout all the projects that Moray Reach Out have. The relationship with Moray Reach Out and the council based in the Elgin is fantastic because they support us, they allow us to have the trainees there to process the recycling that they collect. Great collaboration with them, with ReBOOT and Waste Busters. We're all interlinked and do things to support. We take up the items of clothing from the thrift, swap it backwards and forwards with Waste Busters. We take items to ReBOOT, so we're all trying to do our bit.
Hi everyone, welcome to ReBOOT. We're a computer recycling and reuse social enterprise and charity. You're currently in our little sales area, so everything you see here is second user, so it's come to us either from businesses or members of the public that have either clearing out their cupboards or offices, and this is basically the output of everything that our team of volunteers and staff deal with when it gets to this point here. So it's everything from your screens and PCs, be that vintage or slightly newer, all the way around to laptops, peripherals, phones, games, you name it. So this space here, one, gives us a public presence and allows people to bring their stuff to us. We can also collect, and we collect free of charge anywhere in the north of Scotland. So we will always get call outs in the van and go and get to people's houses. So if they can't get to us, we can still get to them and it's not costing them anything. It's also a space where we can obviously generate an income. As a social enterprise, we need to earn our own money. So the sales of the stuff here help us pay the bills. And we also offer, through in our workshop here with our technician Will, repairs for the public, so people can come in and get those devices fixed, prolonging the life of their hardware, which means they're not going out and buying another new piece of hardware when they don't need to.
I am the supervisor and look after the workshops and the volunteers, and a typical day for me is dealing with equipment that comes into Workshop 3. This is the hub of operations. Equipment that we get coming from businesses and households all get processed here. So most of my days I spent dealing with equipment, or if I'm lucky, having somebody else to deal with equipment for me, while I just check in with the volunteers and make sure things are running smoothly. I had a caseworker that brought me here. In fact, I've come up for 17 years ago and I've been here ever since. You can come here, get a computer, even if it's been built or it's been refurbished, you know, you're doing stuff for the community.
Recycling, yes, it might mean, you know, breaking things down to the components and making sure they're going off to get all the metals and rare earth minerals extracted for new tech. But recycling before that can mean refurbishing, can mean giving tech that might have been thrown away by someone to someone else who might need it.
I don't think we're in the media spotlight with this. I mean, we've been operating for over 25 years now, but we haven't necessarily pushed our own presence in the local area. There are still people in Forest, the town that we're based, that don't know we're here. So yeah, we're probably not as known as we could be, but there are now initiatives coming out, Recycle Your Electronics, and other initiatives that are actually raising the profile. We're dealing with the fastest moving waste stream on the planet. So to be able to actually be there, it's great to be able to offer the service, and we'll continue to push within our own margins and with our own finances to get everyone in the north of Scotland knowing we're here. Seeing individuals that can get the device they need to do what it is they need to do is really high up on all of our.
So as we go around, you'll see that there's basically everything you can imagine that might come from a household here. So I started here as a volunteer many years ago, and then I got a post as a volunteer coordinator, and then I went on to becoming the general manager about 10 or 11 years ago now. When I first started here, there was 4 members of staff, and the site was a lot less busy than it is now. We now have 30 staff and 12 volunteers on any particular week. Definitely riding the wave of a big change across the whole country. I mean, reuse is definitely becoming something that people are engaging with more and more. People use eBay and Vinted, etc., more than they've ever done in the past. So we're seeing the benefit of that, and also the team here have worked very hard to promote the reuse in this area. We encourage people to drop off anything they think might be reusable, for them not to worry too much about whether we will use it or not. We can sort through those things, because a lot of people don't really realise what will be usable again. So yeah, I mean, our guys have got a lot of experience, 20 odd years of experience of sorting through items, and we try and save as many things as we can. The challenge that we're facing most at the moment is more and more materials coming through than is ever done before. We've run out of space basically on our site here. We've grown 6-fold since COVID, and as you can see, this is the result. So we're actually in the process of acquiring a second outlet, and we'll no longer have to try and wrestle with these large pieces of furniture on such a cluttered site.
Every day is varied. I always say it's like Forrest Gump's box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. That's kind of how it is. Well, I'm really passionate about recycling. I mean, it's absolutely imperative nowadays. It needs to happen, and it needs to happen in a lot more. We need to be doing this everywhere. This Waste Busters is such a great idea to save so much stuff from landfill.
So I do the daily administration, anything that Phil doesn't fancy doing, and I do all the welfare cases. So anybody that needs help financially, it can actually be quite soul destroying seeing people drop off at the tip next door and see them throwing things that we could easily sell here.
On any week there's probably about 12 volunteers attend, but we do have people who come every day, volunteer every day, to people who may only volunteer once or twice a year. But it does average out about a dozen people a week. I mean, people think that we're part of the council. In a way that's quite interesting. It just shows you that we do collaborate with the council really well, and it appears that we are part of the council, but we're not. We're an independent charity, social enterprise, a community business, a local community. We try to make things as convenient as possible for the public at the donation end and the collection end, and we try also to make it the best possible value to the public as well. So all I ask of the public is give us a try.
We welcome people to come along and see the process, see what happens all the time, and just to give a little bit of awareness of what actually helps. Even a tiny bit of liquid in the bottom of your bottle, if you can remove that before it comes, that is a huge help.
A lot of the time people just put it in their bin and that's kind of the end of the thought process, so this gives them a wee bit of information on what happens to their waste, maybe how they can change what they're buying so that they're not producing as much waste as well, and what they do with their waste does have an impact.
Sharing the story of waste generally makes a big difference for all of the organisations in Moray that are dealing with it day to day, and understanding that in the background there's a lot of hard-working people managing all of their waste, from IT to furniture to general waste, you know, tin cans, etc., etc., whatever that might be. If we can get people understanding a bit more about what we do as a collective in Moray, we're winning.